Me and Anne have been friends since childhood. When growing up, we had the orientation to study abroad in the US to have a new and more open view of other countries. But Anne loves the people and life in Vietnam, so she chose to stay in her hometown. The two have not seen each other for about a year, but still keep in touch. When Anne has the opportunity to travel to US, she visits me and they have interesting conversations about the opposites between Vietnam and the US. Me takes Anne for a walk around the street. While they pass a certain nail salon, Anne suddenly stops, surprisingly says, "Isn't this work just for women? I have never seen a man work as a nail technician before in Vietnam."
It's a new era. Today's men and women are on equal. No job is for any gender anymore. Even the position of vice president is not reserved for men. Now even women can lead like men.
The era of gender equality is really cool. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, of course. So, gender equality, also known as sexual equality or equality of the sexes, is the state of equal ease of access to resources and opportunities regardless of gender, including economic participation and decision making, and the state of valuing different behaviors, aspirations, and needs equally, regardless of gender. Right now, we are talking about gender equality between two representatives of two different continents, that is Vietnam and America. Of course, two countries with different tradition and culture will show a different aspect of gender equality. As we can see, the Vietnamese way of life has been characterized by reverence for males and disdain for women from the beginning of time. In light of this, males are always valued and have greater rights than women. Because of progress, people's lives are changing as well. When women have a greater say in society, policies have been put into place and have also led to some outcomes. However, gender inequality still persists somewhere and impedes society's greatest efforts to advance. In contrast to Vietnam, the US has advanced the cause of gender equality sooner and has made some success. The proof is that the US has had a gender equality amendment in effect since 1972.
But Vietnam just passed a formal gender equality law in 2006. Along with that, Vietnamese women present earn just about 80% of what Vietnamese men do.
However, that ratio is 93% in the US. Moreover, based on a survey of nearly 390,500 women around the world, CEO World magazine has released its annual ranking of the best country for women. To produce the best countries for women list, 156 countries were given scores across 9 attributes. These include gender equality, percentage of legislative seats held by women, sense of security, females 15 years and older who report feeling safe while walking alone at night, income equality, care about human rights, women empowerment, average years of education among women, women aged 25 and older who are engaged in paid work, and women inclusion in society. The results show that the US ranked 30 in the rankings, while Vietnam is at 86th place.
Not only in issues of men and women, members in the LGBT community also suffer injustice in Vietnam. Although society has become more open to them, they are still not really free in Vietnam. However, in the US, same-sex relationships were legalized in 2015. However, the Vietnamese government is still working hard to learn from and support other nations in their effort to close the gender gap in order to advance society. Me takes Anne to visit his aunt and uncle. When meeting older people, Anne bows politely and greets each person, but me just greet the elderly with "Hi everyone." Then Anne drags me to another place and whisper, "Do you think that your reading is so rude? Have you noticed how I bowed constantly to read the senior?
Yeah, I see. But that is so formal. You know, in the US, I get used to greeting like that. It makes everyone comfortable. If I greet like you, people will consider it too serious.
Oh, really? Let me know more, please.
There is a difference in the power distance between Vietnam and the United States. Let's find out the definition. Power distance is the extent to which the members of a society accept the power in institutions and organizations is distributed unequally. Vietnam scores 70 in the power distance dimension, which means that people accept a hierarchical order in which everyone has a place and which needs no further justification. Hierarchy in an organization is seen as reflecting inherent inequalities. Subordinates expect to be told what to do, and the ideal boss is a benevolent autocrat. The United States score is a low 40, which is no surprise. They value the American premise of liberty and justice for all. This is also shown through the importance of equal rights in every aspect of the United States government and society. We can see the difference in power distance between two countries through some following aspects. In a typical Vietnamese family, children should obey their parents rather than conflict. At an early age, children are taught to follow what their parents want them to do and not allowed to talk back because it is considered uneducated or disrespectful to the older. However, when comparing America to Vietnam, we can see that American children tend to freely express their opinion or even argue with parents about an issue to find a solution together. All decisions are made by both children and parents. At school, Vietnamese students have a tendency to listen and absorb the lecture and not proactively attend in class. According to tradition, teachers are appreciated and considered as the know-it-all, whereas American students feel free to ask, debate, and discuss with teachers to find solutions. They proactively do research, find information themselves, and teachers just play the role of a guider. At workplace, a common pattern of centralized decision-making systems could be witnessed in many Vietnamese companies, and most important decisions are made by senior leaders and managers. Vietnamese employees are acquainted with obeying orders from their superiors without questions or debates. The pattern is quite reserved in low power distance cultures such as the US because people are viewed equally and prefer to make their own decisions.
Me takes on to the pub. This is a person who is using drugs and whispered to me, "It's a bad here. Isn't the use of stimulants against the love and morality?" That's very normal in America. Stimulants are used as a tool to release stress. It also openly sold in drugstores. Wow, that's surprising. This results in the high indulgence in US. What is indulgence? Can you explain to me more? Okay, let's start with the definition. Indulgence stands for a society that allows relatively free gratification of basic and natural human drives related to enjoying life and having fun. Relatively weak control is called indulgence, and relatively strong control is called restraint or constraint. High indulgence means that you are free to enjoy life. Society doesn't restrain you in any way. You can look for instant gratification. There are less or loose social norms. Self-constraint or restraint society is telling you to self-constrain. You have to curb your gratification, and the social norms are a bit more strict. The United States score as an indulgent society. This is reflected by the following contradictory attitudes and behaviors. Work hard and play hard. The state has waged a war against drugs and is still very busy in doing so.
Yet, drug addiction in the States is higher than in many other wealthy countries. It is a prudent society, yet even some well-known televangelists appear to be immoral. For example, marijuana is a psychoactive drug which comes from a THC-bearing plant. It is becoming increasingly legal throughout the U.S., both for medicine and recreation. About 30 to 40 million Americans smoke marijuana every year. About 43% of American adults admit to trying marijuana. This picture below shows you which state use marijuana as a legal medical and which state use marijuana for recreation. A level score of 35 on this dimension indicates that the culture of Vietnam is characterized as a restrained culture. Societies with a level score in this dimension have a tendency to cynicism and pessimism. Also, in contrast to indulgent societies, restrained societies do not put much emphasis on leisure time and control the gratification of their desires. People with this orientation have the perception that their actions are restrained by social norms and feel that indulging themselves is somewhat wrong.
Individualism encompasses a value system, a theory of human nature, and a belief in certain political, economic, social, and religious arrangements. According to the individualist, all values are human-centered. The individual is of supreme importance, and all individuals are morally equal. What a major difference between cultures in the East and the West is how they view the individual in relation to the group. Some cultures tend to place more importance on the individual. They know as individualistic. Many Western societies, including those such as the United States, Australia, in Vietnam and most of the Eastern countries, the individualism scores are very low, showing that these countries are collectivist. Collectivist cultures value long-term commitment and loyalty. In such a society, we promote the building and maintenance of relationships, where each individual must be responsible for his or her collective. This is also a society where the condemnation of crime will be very harsh, because it affects the collective. In contrast, the United States is the most recognizable representative of an individualistic culture. In this society, self and family are the two most important factors for each individual. They value their self-image and try to assert their own position in society. Americans usually view every person as a self-sufficient individual, and this idea is important to understanding the American value system. Everyone is their own person, not a representative of a family, community, or any other group. You may view this as pretty selfish or egotistical, or as a welcome freedom from the restraint of family, community, social class, etc. Yet, this self-centered attitude reveals in American culture, placing the most importance on the individual, not the group. Likewise, U.S. Americans do not like to think of themselves as being dependent upon others, or as others being dependent upon them. This can affect the boundaries placed on personal relationships, which starts with friendships.